Sanjay. Sanjay. Go to new notebook. Python 3. Okay. Can you just help him in opening the notebook? So we were discussing about the strings, right? Couple of things just to recap because there's a gap, right? So strings are collection of characters. Unlike other languages, in Python strings are collection of characters. In other language string is a word, right? But in Python string is a collection of characters. If string is collection of characters, which means we can get the first character of the string data using the index. Index always starts from 0 from left to right? So if I talk about the index of this, it is always starting with 0 from left to right. So this is the string, right? This is how the index works in Python. Not only for string, but for any collection, indexing will start from 0 from left to right, and it will start from -1 from right to left. Okay, so that means if I try to get a of -1, it will give me the last item, right? We can also get the substring by passing the range 0 colon 4. So in this what it will do, it will start with 0 and go till 3. So I'll get the output as HELL, right? If I keep it empty, then also it does the same thing. Starts from beginning, go till 3. The ending index is not included. If I keep the next part empty, then now it's what is happening? It is starting with 1 and going till end, last. Okay. When I try to update any single index, it gives me type error. What is the error message? String object does not support item assignment, right? Which means we cannot change the string data once it is created. If I try to delete, even deletion is not working, right? So strings are immutable. Immutable means it cannot change. What does a change mean? We cannot add, update, delete, reverse, sort, clear. All these operations are not supported for the immutable object. Okay. Immutable object does not support this operation because this operations, any of this operation, right, represents a change. If I create a new string and if I try to add more characters, then I'm changing, right? If I try to update any existing character, then also I'm changing the behavior, the nature of the string. If I try to delete any character, if I try to reverse, even reverse is a change because I'm changing the placement of the data, right? Sorting is also a change, and clearing is also a change. Clearing is nothing but clearing, deleting all the items. None of these operations are supported for the immutable object, right? So when I do s dot, it's e dot, right? When I do a dot, I see a drop down with all the feature coming in the drop down, right? After a dot, you have to hit a tab button, then only you'll be able to see this list drop down. Okay, this drop down represents the feature of string, right? If I check what is capitalized, capitalized will convert everything to the capital case. That means the first character of the string object will become capital. Okay, by default this is capital, so we are not able to see. Let me make it small letters. Right, the first character of the string data will become capital. Right? But as per our concept, strings are immutable, so it should not change. When I go and check the value of a, it is not changed. It all still contains the old value. Not old value, but the original value. Right? We have lower, we have case fold. Lower and case fold both converts the entire object into lower case. The difference between lower and case fold was lower supports both English and non-English characters. Case 4 supports only English characters. We have upper, right? Again, this is not changing the original value because strings are immutable. right? You can never, you can, yeah, you can't change. You have to recreate. Yes. So if you want to store it, you have to recreate. Now, while recreating, you can use the same name. If you use the same name, what will happen to the existing one? That will go to the garbage collection. Right? Unused object, and later it will be removed. But it's not going to go. It's not going to update the existing one. It is again creating a new memory allocation with the same name. Right? Count will give you the occurrence of the pattern that we are passing within the brackets. So I'm trying to check how many times L is present, and this gives me the count as 2, right? How many times L is present, it gives me the count as 2. Index will give me the position, the index of the pattern. So I'm trying to find where is ELLO, right? Now if you look at this pattern, ELLO is this one, right? This pattern. What is the index of it? 1. So we are getting the index as 1. Let me create, and now if I check the index of ELLO, I'm still getting 1 because index starts searching from the left hand side. From the left hand side, the first pattern which it identifies, right? For that it gives me the index. Now we have R index. R index will search from left hand side. Sorry, right hand side, right? So from right hand side there are 3 patterns. What will be the index? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It should be 9, right? Because this is the, from right hand side, this is the pattern that got encountered, right? What is the index of E? 9, right? Similarly, we have find. Find also does the same thing. What index is doing, right? If I try to do R find, both does the same thing, but there is one difference. If there is no pattern available, right? If I try to do the index with something which is not present, it gives me exception. When I try to check the same thing with find, this this gives me -1, right? So find in negative cases gives -1, index gives exception, right? In positive cases both are same, right? If something will replace, where you provide the pattern and tell what do you want to replace with. So I want to replace with something. right? But this is not changing the original value because strings are immutable, right? There's something what starts with gives true or false. If I check if my string starts with HEL, true. If it does not start, you'll get false. And this is case sensitive. If I do capital H, right, so it is case sensitive. Similarly, we have ends with.
So what we have created the strings is based upon that keyword, right? So for hello, if we created a strings with caps, it will give true value, right? Correct?
Okay. There is something called, wait, let me give some white space. So, do you have your laptop? Just open Jupyter Notebook, connect to Wi-Fi. So what is happening? I'm creating a string with some white space both the end, and then there are some white space in between, right? If I do strip, this removes white space from both the end. Okay. There's something called R strip, which removes white space from the right hand side. And then there is something called L strip. It does not remove the white space between the words, right? It always removes the white space from both the end, right? No need to install. You can go to Google, open jupyter.org/try, try. Select the middle one, second option. Can you just help it? Right? Let me create a string, and then there is something called split. Okay. In split, you pass the pattern, and if that pattern is encountered, a string is split into two parts. If there are multiple patterns, like multiple occurrence, then it will accordingly it will split into multiple parts. Right? So from left hand side, here we are getting double E, right? So from here it got splitted, and before double E, whatever we have that comes under comes as one object, and after double E, whatever we have that comes as second part. So it gives me the list of objects, string data. Right? We also have R split. In R split, it will try to split from the right hand side. Now, if you look at the methods, there are a lot of methods which is starting with is alnum, is alpha, is decimal, is digit. All these are Boolean check. true or false. You'll always get the output as true or false, right? Is alphanumeric if your string contains alphanumeric, alphabet and numbers, then you'll get true or else false. Is alpha means whether it contains only alphabet. Is decimal means when it contains decimal value, right? So that way we have all these checks, boolean check, right? If to split the string, we have split function which splits the data into collections. We have one more function to join, right? Where I pass the collection of string data and it converts into one single string object, right? So how does that work? B dot join, and this collection I'm passing A. Now what happens while joining? It is taking the value of B. That means hi, then hello, Delhi, hello, and then Bangalore. Joining is happening based on the value of B. Understood?
Can you repeat this?
It joins, so I'm doing B dot join, right?
Okay.
So while joining this into single object, it takes the value of B. So before between each data, you can see this
Hello.
hello is coming.
Yes.
So which means if I give this as, or let me give a white space. And then to do the string formation, right? String formation means when you have some static data, static string, and some dynamic variables, and you want to form a single string, right? Single statement. Then what should we do? Let's say I want to take the name from the user, right? So name equal to input, enter the name. This is how we take the input from user in Python, right? When I execute this, enter the name, this message will populate on the screen, and whatever I enter will be stored into name, right? Now what I want to do, I want to basically show a message. It says like print welcome, and then the name, and then how are you, right? So this is a string formation. And in this string formation, what we are doing, we have Smith. Name is the dynamic variable, right? Which will keep changing. And other things are static, right? And this kind of scenario will come very frequent when you want to take some input from the user, and based on that you want to populate some message, or you are getting some error. Based on the error, you want to show the message, right? So all those things will be dynamic. You have to form the string, right? This entire string, how to form? One is with comma. You can form the string with comma. Next thing is with plus operator. You can also use plus operator. But the problem with both of this approach is, if I have a message and that message contains two or three dynamic variables, right? Then I have to break down the message into multiple parts. Here I'm breaking down into three parts, right? Welcome is separate, name is a variable, and then how are you doing is separate. If I add one more dynamic variable, then it might get broken into four parts, right? So I have to, if I want this to be stored somewhere, then I have to store with four variables, and then I have to fetch, and then I have to concat using plus or comma, right? And if I think about multiple languages, like I'm supporting Chinese, Japanese, then for each language we have to do the same thing, right? Four variables. So the complexity is increasing. There's one more way where what we can do is, we can first define the message welcome, and wherever you have dynamic variable, put empty flower brackets. Okay, this we have stored. All the dynamic variables will be replaced with empty flower brackets. Now dot format. MSG is nothing but the string object. Strings has a function called format, where you can pass the variable name. So what this format do? It will start replacing all the flower brackets with the variable that you are passing. So if there are multiple flower brackets, let's say there is one more, then I have to pass one more variable. So this is more convenient, right? We have one variable which is storing the entire statement, and we are just replacing the flower brackets with the respective data using format function. Okay, you are able to execute. So this covers strings. Right? Strings are collection of characters. Strings are immutable object. which does not support change, right? And since it is collection of characters, it supports indexing. Indexing starts from 0 from left to right. It starts with -1 from right to left. Right? There's also a concept of slicing where you can get the substring 0 colon and then right. And then there are methods to change the case of the string data, find the count, find out some index of the pattern, right? Both from left hand side and right hand side. Then split, removing the white space strip, right? Starts with, ends with, right? Join, and then we have format. Format is built-in function from string where flower brackets will be replaced with the data runtime. Otherwise, we also have comma and plus operator to do the string concatenation. Right? Right. So tomorrow we'll talk about list. Right? There is one more data type called list. Okay. I'll share the recording. Okay, we'll also have backup if required. Before today, there was one session last week. Okay, from last 4 days, we didn't have any session. So last week we had one session where we just discussed about the background, like what is Python and then what are variables, keywords, and data types, right? And then we started with the first data type, string. Right? So today we have discussed our string. Similarly, we have other data types like list, tuple, set, dictionary. We'll talk about each tomorrow and day after. And then we'll start with logic building. So last session was very basic thing. What is variable, keywords, operators, right?
Do you have any recordings?
Yeah, I have recording. I'll add you guys in the group and then we'll provide you the access.